you're a cool guy. I've known you for a really long time. We're here at AHOA at the Gaylord National AHOACon 2018. Now, you're hanging around here. What are you thinking about this event? What brought you here?
Yeah, nice seeing you too, Glenn. I think we've been connected for almost 10 years now.
Geez, right? I mean, it's one of those things where you think you know someone for 2 years. It turns out to be 10. We've been around a long time, dude.
That's right. That's right. And, appreciate the time. And, found myself at AHOA because my wife and I started a nonprofit a few years ago called Team Seva, which we aim to break the cycle of poverty in India's underserved communities.
Oh, that's cool. That's spelled S-E-V-A. That's why I said Seva, not Seva. I got to work on my Indian inflections, I think.
10 AHOAs later, maybe you'll probably get that down at some point in time. Just as long as you know how to order your chicken tikka masala and your tandoori chicken, you should be good to go.
I'm good with Hebrew, though.
Which will be quite not helpful here. But I'm sure you'll find your way through here. But yeah, in a nutshell, what we do is we build classrooms in the slum communities of India. And what AHOA has been gracious enough to help nonprofits that are focused in these areas and provide a free space for them at the convention show. And so on the trade show floor, not just ourselves, but there's about a dozen NGO/nonprofit organizations that have been provided a space by AHOA generously to discuss and advocate for their causes.
All right, now, so let me, I did not know this, right? I'm sitting here, I'm in this booth sponsored by Rev Roof. I'm doing all these interviews, and I had no idea that they were doing something so cool to give back to communities around the world. How did you hear about it, and how quickly did you say, I got to do this?
Yeah, no, 100%. So obviously I'm familiar with AHOA just through the hotel space and friends and family that are connected to the organization as well. And so as I found myself in San Antonio last year at their annual convention and trade show, I was walking through the nonprofit section as well, and have a handful of friends that are in the space, and they had mentioned that they had gotten their space donated from AHOA to have that facility there, have a 6-foot table and kind of discuss their organizations, which at that point in time they had recommended that we also submit and apply. And so we did. We put an application through AHOA, provided all the documentation that they needed as far as our 501c3, and lo and behold, we got a nice space to kind of put up some literature and have people walk by our booth and just ask questions on what we're doing.
That's beautiful. I love it. Now, I happened to go and have some lunch today, and you had your flyers all over, and I learned 100% of public donations are being given to these impoverished communities in India. How do you pull that off? Don't you have operational stuff that you got to pay for as well?
Yeah, so I've been in the nonprofit space for quite some time, right? And I've kind of looked at the space in two capacities. One is you got to build something sustainable, and so everything we do is $15 a month at a time, right? We do $15 a month pledges, and then from an operational standpoint, it's 100% volunteer driven. I personally go on the ground to India every year. I spend 2 to 3 weeks there, looking at the projects, working on budgets, and working with our team there. But really, when the kids go to sleep at nighttime, India's waking up and on the other side of the world. And so, I spend a few hours every night kind of working on that, and we try to keep operations very lean, which is why 100% of every dollar does go to a cause on the ground.
That's amazing. How do you keep up the energy to run your business at the guest book, and then also to do such charitable efforts and have a life?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate, right? First of all, I have an amazing wife, right? So it kind of starts there first, right? So she gives me the bandwidth and the flexibility to go do these things that I'm very passionate about. Second of all, a couple of years ago when I left corporate America, I really wanted to find a balance in my life, which was, still be a softball dad, still be at home with my kids, not to travel as much as the industry calls for.
I feel like that's a swipe at me.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. I think
I'm just actually sitting here jealous that you actually get to be with your family occasionally.
Yeah, didn't you just travel with your family overseas?
Yes, I did take them overseas to the UK.
All right, there you go. So, but long story short, I kind of left corporate America and kind of reviewed myself and said, what's important to me, and spending time with my kids was important. So I think finding that balance between spending a third of my time with my family, doing a third of my time on the work that pays the bills, and then finding a third of my time to give back, and finding that balance across the time of the day. If it's important to you, then you'll find the time to do it, and that's kind of what I found myself in a position to do.
One of the things is I found that busy people seem to accomplish a lot more than non-busy people.
Yeah, I think that's a good statement. I think that's also
I got it on a bumper sticker. I'm very proud that I was able to regurgitate it.
right next to MAGA
Yeah.
and whatever other bumper stickers you've seen along the way. Actually, you know what? I saw a guy wearing a red hat today. It said, "Make AHOA great again."
Nice.
I was like,
I didn't know AHOA wasn't great.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a pretty funny hat to say. Look, man, at the end of the day, if we just find the bandwidth to find the things that you're most passionate about and the things that make you the happiest, and for me, doing not just the nonprofit work, but just still being at home with my kids and being a softball dad and being these things that I really enjoy doing, I found much more value in those aspects of my life than Friday nights out, till wee out in the morning and stuff like that. Not that I'm saying there isn't a time and space for that from a networking in your space, but I love being a dad at this stage of my life, and I just really want to cherish that as much as I can.
What do you think of the AHOA community at large and how it seems that everybody seems to come together for a common cause?
Yeah, I think that's great about our community, and I've seen it happen just outside of our community as well, right? So if you look at like the Jewish community, the Japanese community, the Chinese community, they all rally around causes and their own community. I think AHOA serves in that capacity for this industry as well, as far as obviously the majority of the South Asians that our hotel owners have they need some type of an alliance or some type of belonging, and AHOA serves in that capacity. And it's great to see either A, just reconnecting with friends that you haven't seen in quite some time, but B, I love the advocacy that the AHOA is providing, the educational resources, because I think at some point in time, although these resources are abundant and can be found online, it's nice to have it all kind of synchronized and gathered in a place where you can cherry pick on what's important to you as a hotelier. And I think they do an exceptional job in doing so.
I think so too. But say someone's new to the organization, any particular advice you would give them in order to maximize their opportunities with this great group?
Yeah, I ran across a few people that were new to the organization, and one of the, it's not a complaint, but one of their observations was that it ended up being cliquey. And I would say it's kind of further than the truth, right? Once you start penetrating a few of these folks and networking with them, then your opportunities open up, and so does that network, right? And at the end of the day, if you want to grow as an entrepreneur in this business, which almost everyone in this room is an entrepreneur in some capacity,
right?
Small, big, medium, large. You're going to have to network. You're going to want to make those connections, not just with the vendors as to what price can you give me for my furniture, but, there's a lot to be learned from some veterans in this industry, some of the people that created the original Wake in the industry.
Right.
If you can really leverage those as mentors or allies, then, why stumble across the same steps that they've already kind of resolve themselves, and I think AHOA has that ability to do so.
Great. So take advice from people who have been around a longer time. And hey, the greatest thing about AHOA is everyone's your cousin, that's right. Both literally and figuratively. Right. I feel like with this community. Any final words? How can people contribute to Team Seva, for example?
Yeah, so everything is transparent on our website, teamseva.org, teamseva.org. We're a 501c3 registered U.S. nonprofit. Again, 100% of everything goes to a cause on the ground. You can give with a credit card. We absorb all credit card fees ourselves. So again, just note that 100% will all go to a project on the ground. And we'd love anybody's support. Any questions that anybody has, our P&Ls, our tax documents are all online to see. And but yeah, and thank you so much for your time, Glenn. You've just been doing a great job in the industry. I love always connecting with you in at these spaces, and thanks for the space for letting me talk about Team Seva.
Hey, thanks. Today. It's a great cause, and I love being able to help people do the right thing. So awesome. Thanks for being here, Deb, and I want to thank all of you guys for listening. And we're going to be back. We got lots more great interviews with you, with everybody today. So stick around. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks.